you're welcome along to Monaghans Galway. Today I'm joined by Galway senior footballer Damien Comer for a very special episode of the Maroon and White podcast. Thanks a million to Jason and Darren for organising this interview. Damien, firstly, I suppose, club season finished for you, inter-county season finished. How's life been for you?
Yeah, not too bad, Paul. Obviously, bit of downtime now before the chaos of it all starts again. But yeah, look, it was a mixed sort of year overall, but kind of happy to draw a line under that the past year and hopefully move forward now and try and have a good year coming.
Is it important, do you feel, to get away on holidays and just switch off from it all?
Yeah, yeah, the break is nice. So obviously, once you can get away with a few of the lads or get away with your girlfriend or whatever it might be, to just switch off and just leave all that behind. Like, there's no doubt it's been a busy 12 months. So yeah, it's just trying to get a break away from all training, gym, rehab, all of that stuff, and just mental break away from it is nice. So yeah, definitely really important.
Do you switch off from it all completely now, or do you stay watching GA, or how would you be around this time of year?
I'd watch certain games. I wouldn't go to an awful lot of games. To be honest, no. I'd like if they're on the TV now, I'd watch them. But yeah, I think you clock up so much mileage during the year, going to different trainings, different matches. When you're done, you're done. And yeah, so watching on TV is grand, or watch a bit of other sports just to take your mind off GA. Times is no harm either. But yeah, I'd be more of a switch off type character. Definitely in the off season. Yeah.
Is it important, do you think, to do that?
I think so, yeah, because like obviously the demands of the game are so high and physically and mentally. So to just completely forget about it for a few weeks is no harm. And I suppose this time of year is a great time to just completely switch off, yeah, and just maybe go and do other things that you don't have the chance to do during the year.
The new rules are obviously something that's being talked about a lot now. The FRC obviously have come in, and I suppose they're hoping for some changes. It's hard to know with all of them. Are you excited though, as a inside forward, when you're seeing the three up, the 2 point arc? It doesn't probably look like the 4 point goal is going to stick, but are you excited by some of them?
Yeah, I think like look, it's very progressive now. Um, Even watching the games in the Interpros up in Croker was hugely progressive, I think, and definitely entertaining, more entertaining than it was. And I don't think the new rules are going to bring this open, expansive football that everyone's hoping it'll bring. Like, there's going to be teams are going to get used to playing that way, but I definitely think it's a step in the right direction. The tree up, just not being able to put a complete blanket of 15 players behind the ball, I think is definitely progressive, and just like it's going to leave more gaps up front. The tree up, definitely you have a target man inside it. There's loads of positives. There will be some things that are going to have to be reviewed, and even it might take a full season to run through it and see what happens afterwards. But um, until you start practicing them, and there'll be different things that will work and different things that won't. But until you start practicing and figure out what's working and what's not, and when you see games in the different leagues, it will show up what's going to be there for good and what's going to be bad about it.
There's obviously a lot being made about where Gaelic football is at the minute, and it can be boring to watch sometimes. It's safe to say, and but I suppose when you're in the bubble, you don't really care when you're playing that. But I suppose then, as an inside forward for you, you probably want to see more direct ball.
Yeah, like obviously it can be frustrating when you play inside and there's just no room around you. There's a double sweeper or whatever it might be in front of the full forward line. But look, yeah, that's the way it's gone, and that's kind of you just got to adapt. Some players have adapted, some teams have adapted to it really well. Um, Other positions nearly become nicer to play in if you can play in them roles. Full forward line this year, seen it with a lot of top intercounty footballers like this. Probably struggle to hit the highs of what they would have hit in other seasons because teams are getting better at their defensive structure and shutting out teams. So yeah, and I think like every footballer, I think in general, unless you're a cornerback, maybe wants to see good forwards going at good defenders and seeing who comes out on top. Like like what was like a few years ago, where you have like one that sticks out recently was obviously Keith Higgins and O'Donoghue, like in their one-on-one battles, like just out and out one-on-one attacking, defending, and like you see that you want to see more of that. If the back gets the better of the forward one-on-one, he's a great defender, and you like that's more of what you want to see, or maybe a forward having to go on the back and getting the better of him or whatever it is. But yeah, definitely it's more exciting to watch for the neutral, and I suppose for playing, and it's definitely something that you'd prefer.
Did these rules changes like that are being proposed at the minute? Did you feel they just had to come now?
I think they did, yeah. I think it's been coming a while. Like I remember watching different, even times you'd be sitting out of training with an injury or whatever, and you're looking at training, and it's like very controlled, very passive. Not the way you would have envisaged Gaelic football when you were growing up. So definitely, yeah. But like, I think something needed to change. Wouldn't be in favor of changing lots of things, but definitely little tweaks. The tree up, I think, is a really good one. There would have been kind of on about that the last few years. Few of us just if they did something like that, didn't know how they were going to bring it in, but in fairness, the committee got it going, and it seems to be working. And from what we've seen in Croker, it looked like the game was a lot more progressive. There was a lot more 50-50 balls going in for them, the American side, the 21. So yeah, they've a lot of good things brought in.
Is the danger with the three up though how this is going to be ref like because they do have enough challenges as it is, and I suppose that's a concern for people when they're thinking about these new rules.
Yeah, I I agree, but then I also disagree in a way because similar to like for your bigger games or for your big club games or whatever, you're going to have linesmen, you're going to have umpires, you're going to have obviously a ref in the middle. Similar to the linesmen in soccer, I'd imagine they'd take half of the pitch each, like you do with your offside. You're watching the 65 line as well. You can call a line ball from further away. The ref is there to help you. You've umpires there. Then you can use your base as around the 65 or close enough to 65 that the linesmen are watching that. They're all mic'd up to the ref. They can tell them whatever if it's an infringement or that. But like then when it goes back to club, I think a way harder rule you see in club soccer when I used to play it in underage is the ref doesn't leave the centre circle and he calls offside from the centre circle, which
Yeah.
is much harder to police or to call. So I think it won't be that bad. And the penalties, whatever penalties they decide on for it, if they keep what's there already, that'll be enough to deter people. Like you're not gonna take the penalty. Like you're not going to risk it if there's a big enough penalty for it. So, yeah, I think it'll be fine.
Just on it, what rule changes do you think will be kept? Like, is there really an advantage in this? I suppose one midfielder against one midfielder and the other midfielder running in because as we've seen in the interprovincials, I can't remember which game, it was just punch straight forward like it usually is.
Yeah, I don't. I actually like the one-on-one for the throwing. I think that's good because nowadays when you're in the hot ball, it's just about who can get a better block or a screen on their man, and it's rarely you can get a clean jump because you're going to be blocked out of it or boxed out of it by the opposition. So I do like that. So that's literally just a one-on-one jump and punch or jump and field if you can feel it. Yeah, I was laughing watching it. It was like you're clearly at an advantage for the man standing to where the players are facing because you can just flick it forward. But if they had even if they had two of them where they can break it to the two lads that are on the same side, so they're both at the same advantage, or else you just have it that they're one either side of the 65, would be fine as well. But yeah, that'll change, I'd say. But even by running that game, I think the idea was good with the 1v1, but obviously they'll make a tweak to that and change where the both midfielders will stand. Yeah.
The All Stars obviously took place last week and they're obviously individual awards, but probably is an enjoyable night for the players. But as players, were you just thrilled for Paul, like, because everything he's been through at 35, like, to get Footballer of the Year, it's just incredible.
Yeah, unbelievable. Unbelievable. I was buzzing for him. Yeah. Had a feeling he probably would get it. Thought he deserved it overall. An outstanding year and has been a massive servant for Galway. Just a really, really good footballer, and I think he epitomises what football is about because he's athletic, he can cover ground, and he's basically a really, really good footballer. His kick passing is one of the best in the country, if not the best. He's a joy to play with as an inside player. He always has his head up looking inside to kick. He's deadly accurate off both feet. He can kick long range, like an all round really really good footballer. So yeah, look at I've been up at All Stars with Paul. I remember before he came up to the All Stars 2 years ago, and a few of us got it from the other All Ireland final. And it actually I was sickened that he was coming up and he wasn't going to get an award, and he's been playing for so long. Obviously, when you're getting to that age, you don't know how many years you've left. I was hoping that he would win an award for himself for his dedication, and because probably deserved over his career. He's been such a good footballer. He would have deserved it. But I remember he came up, wasn't able to have a drink because he was playing, I think, relegation with James the next day. But he still came up to support us that day, even though he knew he wasn't getting anything. That just kind of shows the type of lad he is. He was, um, just happy to go up and support us when we were getting our rewards, and that's why I was just thrilled for him the last day. It was really really good, and he's a great serve. And obviously the setback he had a few years ago to come back and just getting better with age. So in fairness to him, so yeah, delighted for him.
He seems like a player who's going to love this 2 point arc.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say so. He did knocked up double digit scores on what he had this year, because I think most of his shots were from outside the 2 point arc. But yeah, that's his quality he has. He's been doing it for years with Galway, kicking points from the 65 nearly.
Yeah, plus 16 like this year in the championship for midfield is just
Yeah, it just shows. But he was outstanding this year, and to do it at the age he does, and he never misses a training. He's always training. Um, at his age, he just minds himself really well. So yeah, no, everyone was delighted for him.
this year as a whole. Like the journey you went on, like compared to I suppose that first game against Mayo in the league, probably Galway fans felt you were a bit away from that. But the journey you brought the county on, it's obviously still tough when you look back on the All Ireland defeat. But how do you reflect now on 2024 as a group?
Yeah, look at I personally, no, that was disappointing year overall. It was um just very staggered, hit and miss with training, very little training done. Um, just frustrating from me. I would just say frustrating. Obviously, getting to an All Ireland final was great, and we went on a great run. There was a great buzz around the place. But when you can't, um, I suppose when you can't keep training to the level you want to, and just keep breaking down, personally, that gets frustrating. But yeah, look at we obviously would have been your hopes when we nearly got beaten Sligo. We were a long way from getting to an All Ireland
Mm.
final, and no one would have expected us. So we were there on merit. We played really well all the way along, and just probably got the rub of the green as well, and then maybe ran out of that bit of luck that we needed on the day. But yeah, we just had probably too many big injuries during the year, um, that just kind of held us back from everyone reaching their potential, and probably cost us then on the big day. Yeah,
Was it the hamstring that was a constant issue for you all year?
yeah, basically, yeah, just hamstring left, right, left,
Yeah.
yeah, chopping and changing. But it was just, yeah, it was just
Mentally,
frustrating.
that must have been very tough. Like,
Yeah, mentally nearly worse, because you come back, you try and get your body right, you do all the work, and then you come back and you break down again, and then you're back to square one. Then you feel like you're getting a bit of momentum after the Mayo game. Did a good bit of training there around the London game. Didn't play in London, but had a good bank of training over there. And then you get ready for the Mayo game. Obviously, played well in the Mayo game, and then you break down in the next game against Derry. Probably a bit sore after the Mayo game, and maybe didn't manage it as well as I could have. But then you break down against Derry again, and you're back to square one, and your confidence goes in again. You're back running on the sideline up in the gym. Um, just missed way too much training. That's basically it. And just, yeah, mentally it's a challenge because you're trying to get right. But um, yeah, that's why I just draw a line on last year and hopefully
do
get
you just
things
want to
right.
forget about it from that point of
Yeah,
view now?
like for me, just it's no good to anyone, because obviously you're trying to get right for a competition, and like the lads are at the pinnacle of their fitness, or most of them will be like training every day, and you're training maybe once in 2 weeks or whatever it might be. You can't compete really with other guys. Like you can compete as best you can, but you just when you don't have the work done, it's very hard. So yeah, just a really really frustrating year. Just one, yeah, put a line through it, and hopefully have a better one in 2025.
Were there, I presume there was a lot of people probably asking questions at the time, like in the lead up to these games. Did you just try and avoid people, I suppose, when you're going through that hamstring injury?
Yeah, you just do. Like that's just frustrating. My family know, obviously, my girlfriend know. You've been in bad form because you put so much on hold to play, um, and then when these niggles keep happening, then obviously you try and put them to the back of your mind, but you know you're going into another few weeks in the gym where you'd rather be on the pitch. The sun will be out. It's summertime, you want to be on the pitch, but you're just doesn't happen for one reason or another. So yeah, huge frustration, but that's sport. If I'm afraid, and yeah, we just draw a line through that and hopefully kick on next year.
Is it anything to do, do you think, with the schedule? Because like yourself and Shane this year, like picked up your fair share of injuries, and even the squad too picked up their fair share of injuries this year. Do you think it's anything to do with how demanding it is at the minute?
Yeah, I think it is. Like, look, there was a lot of injuries. Like talking to different coaches around the place, there was a lot of injuries, in different camps. But mine was just strange because it kept going from right to left, and there was no. It was very hard to pinpoint what was going wrong, and it wasn't mine wasn't load because I wasn't able to train from the start. It wasn't that I overtrained at any stage because I literally broke down after I did a few weeks preseason, and then got injured early January before the first league game, and it was just playing catch up the whole time. So it wasn't for me. It wasn't that. For the other lads, yeah, obviously you're traveling week on week, and it's more condensed, and it is tough. Then it's like could be a knock on like Shane, obviously with the club season with Kilmacud, um, possibly had a knock on. But yeah, there's probably a bit of that. But I think everyone's in the same boat. It's just how well you can manage it. And in fairness, you have a good team around you, you'll manage it fairly well. Then it can be just luck. Sometimes you don't get the luck, and certain injuries happen, and you can't prevent them, and that's just the way it is.
That Mayo game, you must have been feeling good because it definitely was one of your best performances in a Galway jersey.
Yeah, it was good, and it's funny because that's probably what kept me going all year because I hadn't an awful lot of training done going into that game. PJ was wondering would he start me, and I was kind of doubting it because I'd only came on for maybe 20 minutes against Sligo, and I was under pressure. But it's just that was the nature of it, was the lack of training done. But um, yeah, the Mayo game was good. Look, it was good. It was a great day for Galway. Gleeson kicking that point at the end. That was a fond memory we'll have for a long time. It's great for him as well. Um, he's a great lad and took a lot of slack or whatever. But yeah, he went on to have a great year. But yeah, it was. Look, it was good. But again, it was just a matter of probably wasn't. It's probably a bit of luck more than anything because hadn't an awful lot of work done into it. But in fairness, just felt good on the day and got through it.
The quarter final, like if I take it to that against Dublin, even for Galway supporters, it nearly felt somewhat like when you bet Mayo in Castlebar under Kevin, like there wasn't a big Galway contingent that went up to Croke Park that day, but the emotion of everything of beating Dublin in Croke Park, that must be one of the most special days throughout your career now.
Yeah, yeah, it was. That was a great game. Yeah, just a great. I suppose obviously because of who it was against. Obviously the Dublin team. Um, maybe they've fallen back a small bit, but they're still a really strong side, and to beat them in Croker, which hadn't been done so long, was great. And yeah, from the supporters anyway, they definitely enjoyed it because a lot of them headed off to South Doctors or whatever after, and said it was one of the best nights they've ever had. But yeah, look, we didn't get too carried away. We were happy. We were quite quietly confident going up there. That we get a result. Things were going all right. Lads were starting to click a bit better, and yeah, so it was good for us. But yeah, it was great, and obviously it set us on our way then to what we were going for.
Yeah, bet Donegal, huge win, and obviously that game against Armagh just narrowly beaten. Have you been able to watch it back yet?
No, I haven't watched it back yet. I haven't watched the Kerry game from 2 years ago either, so I don't think I'll be in a rush to watch the Armagh game. So yeah, no, not yet. Eventually, I might have the stomach to watch them back.
Was your point over in the All Ireland final? Because there's a couple of angles. I don't know. Have you seen it since that? It does look over, and I don't know is it just from that angle, but
Yeah, I was full sure on the day it was over. And Farker said to me he thought it was over as well. Yeah, I went into the umpires. Hawkeye, whatever. I don't know. Was there a mistake with Hawkeye or whatever? But from where I kicked it, I was 99% sure it was over, but it doesn't matter now anyway. It's done. But yeah, it was frustrating.
Can you peg losing that All Ireland final because there was chances there towards the end? Joe McElroy comes across and blocks Paul. Dylan McHugh just hits the post on the wrong side. Do you still think back to it every day, or is it just something you have to?
You get over it. Look at it. It'll still haunt you for a long time, but you do get over it. It was disappointing, and we had chances, but just from a personal point of view, it was disappointing because it didn't offer a whole pile. Um, just probably that would be the biggest disappointment for me. But that's probably where I was at. Probably expecting more out of myself than my body was probably able to give in certain senses. And then when you haven't the work done, you're relying on an empty tank of whatever. But yeah, it was just annoying. But the chances were there. It's just like they had the rub of the green on the day. We had a good chance. We had good chances in the second half. Just probably didn't take. Maybe had a couple of goal chances that we could have went for that we either popped them over or put them wide. And yeah, look, that's the way it goes. We'll look back and we'll have regrets, no doubt, and we will regret it for a long time. But look at the new season starting, and you just got to put it at the back of your head. You can see what happens, and just you have to go again. That's just the beauty of sport. So yeah,
People say it's hard to come back, but like there must be huge confidence there. Two All Ireland finals in 3 years. Like, would you be having as much confidence if you weren't getting there?
that's it. Yeah, there's long enough years we've played with Galway and we haven't got there. So um, played for a long time and we were struggling to make quarterfinals and losing games we should be winning and that. So yeah, you have to be there to have a chance to win it, and we have a great squad. A lot of them are young. Obviously, Conroy's the only exception, but as Player of the Year, I don't think he is an exception. So he's one of our best players. But yeah, there's a great squad of lads there. So if we can just get everything to gel and click again, who knows? We're as far away as ever again, but we'll have to try and get back to the top table.
How is it being one of the older statesmen now to, I suppose, when you started out?
Yeah, it's different, but I probably feel like I'm the older lad now for a good few years. I feel like I'm there a long time now, but yeah, it's grand. But the young lads come through. They bring great energy, um, just kind of freedom as well. They bring their own twist to things, and there's great training. There's just great group of lads there. So yeah, it's good. It's good, and obviously the young lads keep you young as well. So it's nice. But no, there's good. There's a good crew. There's a nice mix between kind of a few experienced heads and then a few younger lads as well.
Are they different compared to previous younger players that have come through? I suppose it's probably backbone by that underage success they have had.
Yeah, there is, and they kind of have a bit of quirk about them, and they want to be there and they want to be playing. Like I remember when I was coming in, you nearly be doing everything quietly, and as in like, sure, I'm too young nearly to get onto the team, but like in fairness to Pork, he gives great confidence to anyone, and they're good enough, they'll be playing. Like that doesn't really matter what age they're. If they train hard and show up and train week in week out, they'll be playing. That's kind of the beauty of Pork as a manager. But yeah, no, they're good lads.
The management team has been freshened up for the off season for 2025. Keane O'Neill's left, Dave Morris and Mickey Graham come in. Is it important? Was it important, do you think, to get new voices in this year?
Yeah, it would have been even had Keane stayed on. I think it was important just to freshen it up. It's always good to hear a different perspective or challenge the lads on maybe something they might think from the year before. So definitely that's good. Yeah, it's exciting now to see what the lads will bring to the table. Um, Obviously two different coaches now, and I have an experience of either of them, so I'm looking forward to working with them and seeing what they bring.
Do you look forward to 2025, or is it this time of year maybe that some players don't look forward to it?
Yeah, I look forward to 2025. The preseason before 2025 mightn't be too nice, but no, you look forward to look at you. You put 2024 to the back of your mind, and you try and use it as motivation to go again and see where it takes you. Obviously, like even with the disappointment, the All Ireland, you still have great days all through the year, and you meet great people along the way, and you have great bonds and friendships and stuff. So yeah, it will be exciting once it gets going. Yeah.
Just before we finish, a couple of quick fire questions for you.
All right.
What is your favourite memory in a Galway jersey?
Favorite memory in a Galway jersey was when I lifted the Nestor Cup in the kind of final on Father's Day. I think it was 2 years after Dad passed away, so that was definitely it's one that sticks out always. Yeah,
Best player you played with?
should have to be Paul Conroy, I suppose.
And who's been your toughest opponent?
I've had a few. I've had a few. I'd say overall, Lee Keegan has probably been the toughest. Yeah, because he's a good defender and puts you going the other way as well, attacking wise.
And just finally for you, what is the best thing about playing intercounty football?
I suppose the memories you make along the way, different experiences you get. Like still remember like going into the different games, the Dublin game, or even into the kind of final when you're driving into the stadium and you've got Mayo and Galway all mingled together and they're roaring, some of them roaring, roaring at you, and some of them roaring for you. Driving at different games, or it might be like any of the quarterfinal, semi final, final, all of those things. So yeah, they're fun memories to have. Obviously, the result when it goes your way, it's great. Like in the kind of final when it doesn't go your way in the All Ireland, it's hard to take and it's not a nice place to be. But that sport, someone has to win and someone has to lose, and as someone said to me before, you'll probably lose more, or you'll probably lose more in sport than you'll win, and that's been true. But when you win, it just makes it that bittersweet. So hopefully the tide will always turn.
Great stuff. Well, that is our episode with Damien Comer in Monaghans Galway. Thanks a million to everyone for listening. Thanks, Damien, for coming in. And thanks again to Monaghans Galway for organising this.
Thanks, Paul.